Don't. Don't. Bye. t- well, Oh, all the time. Bye.